Hey, you! Do you love social commentary, shitty horror films, and Kevin Bacon? Oh, then you'll love They Slash Them. Yeah, it's not they, them, it's they slash them. Do you get it? Slash. It's a slasher movie. You know what, just fuck it, let's get it over with. Yeah, so as I said, it's They Slash Them, and it stars Kevin Bacon, and was written and directed by John Logan. Who's John Logan? I don't know, and I don't really care. The film is about a group of LGBTQIA plus teenagers at a conversion camp, and there's a killer. There you go. That is the entire plot. So Kevin Bacon plays a character named Owen who runs the camp, and while I initially expected him to be a critique or a cliche on religious views on the whole LGBTQIA plus community, he's really not. Despite being a leader of the camp, he's actually quite accepting and respectful of the kids on the surface because, you know, it's a movie, there's layers, and when the kills eventually do start, however, it's nothing special. The film is sold on this LGBTQIA plus aspect, and while I agree that, you know, it's different, it's not that big of a factor. It truly doesn't really add anything. The camp slasher genre has been done so much better time and time before. Friday the 13th, Sleepaway Camp, The Final Girls, Fear Street 1978 all did this same idea so much better. And not only did they do it better, those films all had moments that could be considered genuinely scary. They slash them just isn't scary. The film actually does give you a false sense of hope with its opening. A woman is just driving down this road, and then she hits a flat tire, and then the killer kills her. Tension's built really nice, it's actually pretty good. Like I said, it's for the most part a pretty well done scene, but it's nothing that we haven't already seen before. For the rest of the film, the kills are just kind of there, with none of them being any different from what you've seen in other camp slasher movies. And they're just not that effective. Oh, and before you get scared, don't fret. The film does have some social commentary, which I know you were scared that it didn't. This film is actually not as preachy as I thought it was going to be, but it still does preach at you. The biggest example of this is during some therapy scenes where the therapist is essentially degrading and emotionally manipulating the kids. The scenes are effective in making you feel bad for the kids and hate the therapist, but I can't help but feel that the scenes are nothing but exploitation. The film does also talk about things like gender roles, gender identity, sexual assault, sexuality, pretty much checks all the boxes, but like I said, the film ultimately feels like it's just exploiting the issues rather than actually saying anything on them. There's some other things that I would go on about, but I don't want to get into spoilers, and I'll just leave that for you to discover if you're so inclined to know what they are. Overall, the film is just mediocre. The writing is by the numbers, especially for a slasher movie. The film just feels very disingenuous in its message, and worst of all, it's just not scary. It's really not. If your horror film fails to scare me, then you have failed at making a horror film, and you should feel bad about that. By the way, there is a twist when it comes to who the killer is, and it's very underwhelming. At least to me it was. They slash them? More like 5/10. I'm sorry. The only thing worse than the cliches in this movie is that they make you listen to Pink in 2022.